Justified Season 6, Episode 2, Cash Game. Now, I'm incredibly far behind in this season. I think I haven't done a review for this show in a month, and I did it like on the first episode when it premiered. And I'm just really far behind now, but I wanted to catch up on this show because it's the final season, and I don't want to do it at the last minute. I'm still kind of doing it at the last minute. I have to catch up on all the episodes so far. But I do want to actually get to review the final episode when it premieres. I want to see it when it premieres because I actually really like it, even though it doesn't make that much of a difference. I think, it's kind of the same for a lot of people. Like, you kind of want to see it when it really first comes on for the first time ever, and it's not just recorded or anything like that. So I'm catching up now. I'm going to be doing a bunch of episodes, and I'm going to do a review for every single episode. So I just want to say thanks for checking these out, even though they're like weeks behind. Like, I'm over a month behind now. So I really appreciate you guys checking out these reviews, even though they're for episodes that have passed for a long time. But I love this episode. It was a great second episode, and we finally got a bit of information on this. We find out it's basically a security company. This guy who's going around to these houses and um, plotting to buy all these different homes and buy all this land up from people, just basically throwing money at them like, you didn't take this, here's a 20% increase on what's already thousands of dollars. So that's quite a bit of money. And it was kind of cool. It was fun to see kind of the other people that he works with as well. We find out he's not the only person involved. He's also not the leader of everything that's going on, which I figured out for myself probably halfway through the episode. Like, he's based on some of the things he did, like when he was initially talking with Calhoun and he was the only guy in his office, it was like, okay, maybe he is the leader and that's just what he does. But then there were other things, like him going to the house to kill the old couple. That was one of those things where it was like, okay, I can see that he's not the top guy. Like him talking with the one woman by himself, it could just be the fact that he knows, he's just the guy who's right for that job. Obviously, the character Choo Choo, who I loved in this episode, was hilarious. Like, his introduction was just unbelievably funny to me. I think, like him and, if we hadn't lost Dewey in the last episode, him and Dewey would have, like, the funniest scenes ever. It would probably be too much comedy for this show, but him, like, constantly saying, like, I don't follow, or I'm not following you, it was just really funny. And then Raylan, at the end of the episode, when he, like, here's your keys, and he tosses them, he's just looking, and it just hit the wall behind him, and I thought that was just the funniest thing. Like, he just has certain issues, and he has, like, the silliest nickname. It's not like they call him Train or anything. It's like they actually call him Choo Choo. Like, it's not like they call him Train. They call him like the kitty part of that whole thing, and it's just really funny. Like, I like his character and him not being too bright, obviously, and when he gets picked up, he's like, I was gonna kill this guy, and then I would have to kill this person and that person if they came along, and he just gives out all this information, has big conversations with whoever, anybody, everybody, and it's just funny. Like, I can't wait to see what the heck they do with his character and just how silly he ends up being later on in this season, and of course how deadly he ends up being, because he's obviously gonna be the physical aspect of this trio that we've seen so far. But I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what they do with him. I want a little bit more info on the other guy as well, just to kind of get to know him. I mean, they're the final villains of the series, so I do want to know as much as we can get out of these characters and get a feel. We don't have to obviously have like their life story or anything, but I know it's gonna come down in one of these episodes. We're gonna get to learn personality wise at least a little bit about him. He's obviously smarter than Choo Choo. He's like, you can't just say stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to getting to know a bit more about these characters and finding out really whoever their boss is. So that's going to be pretty fun. We got to see the stuff with Boyd and him realizing at the end of this episode, finding out that one of the ledgers he had was actually worth, had a bit of important information on it with this pizza place that the guys are staying in, and it used to be a bank. So I guess that means, like, I still don't really know, like, if it was an old bank, I still don't understand how that means really anything at all, and there's probably something they know that they haven't said in the show, or it's something that I'm just not thinking of at the moment. But to me, honestly, it's like, well, it's a restaurant that a long time ago used to be a bank. Like, I don't really see why it even really matters, unless there's something about land, where a bank used to be or something. I don't know, but it's obviously a huge deal. So I'm excited to see what Boyd decides to do with that, and where he kind of takes things, and Ava, kind of getting deeper into things, even though she's obviously trying to find good evidence on them, and things possibly going bad for her, or going bad for Boyd. So it'll be cool to really watch that, because she was kind of looking at things from the outside, like, all right, I'm working with Raylan, I'm giving him a little bit of information that I find out here and there, but now she's really in it, a lot like she was when she wasn't trying to give info to the cops. So she's in it just like she was in past seasons, and excuse me, it's not exactly the same, because she obviously has a certain fear of being caught, and Raylan, and I think he did that in the last episode as well, where he said a certain thing, and it kind of freaked her out. Where it's like, I wasn't thinking that at all, and it kind of freaked her out, which is good, I guess, because if she wasn't thinking that, she probably wouldn't have been as prepared when she went back to the house. He would have just been there, and she probably would have lied about it instead of just confronting him and saying, like, yeah, I found this, and I'm mad at you for basically putting this in my house, sending me back to jail. So I can't wait to see how they do things, but I thought it was a great episode. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what do you guys think about the villains so far for this season? Obviously, the main person is going to be Boyd. That's it's the final season, then that's really what Raylan is doing, and I love the interaction between Raylan and Boyd in this episode, where they were both at the office, and they like some really, like, I loved when Raylan said hi, and then Boyd, he says, like, isn't it funny meeting you here, or something like that. And Raylan, or Boyd, goes into like the whole spiel about what it means and how he was confused about it. And Raylan's like, Jesus, I was just saying hi. I thought that was a funny line. And then them talking about how they do things and this and that, and Boyd's, and Raylan's like, well, I put a Glock in my holster every day, so when you hand me that, do it really slow or I'm gonna shoot you. Just silly stuff like that. Like, oh, that's one of the reasons I love the show so much, is just the sarcasm and excuse me, the wit of the characters, especially between Boyd and Raylan, and Boyd in general, just the way he speaks, and he's very intelligent and very deadly at times, especially when he needs to be deadly. He's pretty dangerous, but I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be a fun final season. Something minor that happened that I really feel like they focused on, because it's going to play a big part, is the one guy who was working for Boyd picking up the little necklace and like putting it on like the dead whatever that was. I think that's gonna play a really big part in Boyd being busted for Dewey's murder, because everyone knows Dewey Crow. Like, they know his character, they know he wears this necklace with gator teeth on it all the time. They know his character. There aren't really any characters in the series outside of maybe Dewey's other cousins who wore random stuff and things like that. So whenever one of the good guys goes in, and most likely it'll end up being Raylan, because he'll go there to try to get some info out of Boyd, and they'll have their witty conversation, he'll see that necklace and it'll kind of trigger something, because obviously they didn't go into it in this episode, but they do mention the fact that Dewey's kind of gone. Like, Ava mentions it. Raylan doesn't speak too much of it because it's been like 2 days, and it's Dewey Crow, so obviously he doesn't have much of a reason to run into Raylan or any authority figure. So it's only been like 2 days now, but they know he's in town. They know what happened in the last episode, and it's gonna creep up. Like, we haven't seen any random bad news out of Dewey Crow. That's really suspicious, and it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back for sure, and I'm excited to see that happen. But like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.